Thunder! 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 Thundercats! Ho!
Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose. Feel the magic, feel the glory. Thundercats are loose. Thundercats.
Enough of this fooling around. Come on out and we'll fight it out. Or are you scared?
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and tonight I am very happy to bring to you part 1 of our 3-part series, The New Thunderians. For those of you who are not familiar with The New Thunderians, the second season of Thundercats opened up with a 5-part story called Thundercats Ho, which introduced 3 brand new Thundercats that also survived the destruction of Thundera, but had different lives on Third Earth, but eventually met up with Lynx-O and the original Thundercats. So, those 3 were Pumyra, Bengali, and Lynx-O. And introducing new characters was a common trait for shows back in the 80s, because a lot of times they felt the show needed new blood, as it were, and new characters to keep the show interesting. So we will be going over all 3 of these new Thundercats. Today being part 1, we'll take a look at Pumyra, then on Wednesday we'll take a look at Bengali, and finally, wrapping up the week for part 3, we'll take a look at Lynx-O. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Super 7 Ultimates Thundercat Pumyra. Now, what's interesting about her is that she came out in the very first wave of Super 7 Ultimates Thundercats, but I decided to hold on to her until they released Bengali and Lynx-O as well, and we could have this special that you're watching now. Yay! So, taking a look at the packaging, it comes in your standard brown protective box. It has Thundercats, Pumyra, ages 14 plus, Super 7. On the back of the box, you have some credits for the box and a barcode, but this is just a protective box. The real good stuff is inside, and when we take it out of the brown paper box, we get the awesomeness, which is the standard Super 7 Ultimate Thundercat box. It's black, and you have this awesome red foil Thundercat logo there. You have Thundercats here, you have Pumyra, you have ages 14, you have Super 7. On the top of the box, you have Ultimates. On the bottom of the box, you have credits for the box and the barcode. And on the back of the box, you have another awesome Thundercats logo there, and that is so cool. You also have some writing, contents, 1 figure with accessories, and Super 7. But again, this is not all of the packaging. When you lift up this slip cover, you can actually see the awesome figure inside, and there she is. She is beautiful. And you can see all of her accessories in there packaged with her, and nothing much has changed. You got another Thundercats logo there, and on the back of the box, you get an awesome piece of artwork of Pumyra. At the top you got Super 7, and let's zoom in. That is so cool. I love how they do this artwork, and this is great. If we scroll down here and zoom in, we can get a read up of Pumyra, and you can pause the video, read that to your heart's content. We must be moving on and backing back out. So, wow, yes, this is Pumyra in the box, but I know no one wants to see Pumyra in the box. I know I don't, so let's get her out and see what she can do. And here we have Pumyra out of the box. And out of the box, she stands approximately 7 inches tall. She comes with an alternate head, some alternate hands, the Totem of Dara, her whip cord, and a boomerang, all of which we'll take a look at in just a moment. But first off, I want to take a look at Pumyra herself. And coming in real close on Pumyra, I have to say I really like this character design. I think it's more unique than the others that we've got in the series, and that's saying a lot because there's a lot of differently designed Thundercats. Alright, taking a look at the head sculpt, you can see it's really nicely done. She does have a nice head of hair that is two-toned. You got the brown on the side, and then you have this white streak right in the middle, going all the way to the back, and at the bottom of the tips of her hair, it's all covered in white, and that is like that on the front as well, with these 2 locks coming down from either side of her face. I like that. I like that a lot. Her face is really nicely done. You have some nice pronounced eyebrows and this paint underneath her eye, which is really nicely done. Speaking of eyes, they are very large and red. I like how they're done. Almost looks anime. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be that big, but they are. Nice pronounced and sharp ears. I like that. Lips are done in a very nice pink. That is cool. Coming down, she does have this coppery looking choker around her neck. That is neat. Coming down to her suit, it's basically a little brown dress. Let me see if I can zoom out because we are a little close still. So let's zoom out so we can see the entirety of it. And it comes down the center of her chest, coming down at an angle. It's nice and brown. There is some cuts to the side. So it's open here. She does have a red or burgundy type of connector here on her left shoulder. Also has a little bracer or bracelet right here on her left arm. Nice Thundercat symbol in the middle of the dress. Coming down to the bottom part, you do see that she has a version of her whip cord around her waist. Now that is glued there. It does not come off, which is kind of an odd choice because she does have this as a weapon. So it seems like, you know, they would have made a way for that to come off. Now when they put out the original version of this figure from Mattel, that was removable and that was just plugged in on the side, but this one cannot come off, so she's basically gonna have two. So anyway, coming to the side of her dress, she has a glued in pouch here. It's really nicely done. You got some details there with some stitching and the button. I like that. Coming down to her legs, they go back to that flesh tone. Oh, coming back, the arms are actually two-tone too. You got the regular flesh tone here and a lighter part down here at the forearm, which is cool, and it comes up at a point right there, if you can see that. And coming down finally to some nice burgundy boots. They're nicely done, and you do got a little gem right here at the front, which is done in a nice, I want to say coppery yellow, I'm not sure, probably the same color as her choker thing. So that is pretty much what she's gonna look like. Nothing on the back that you wouldn't expect. The bottom of the shoes do have some ID numbers and some peg holes if you want to put her on a stand. If you are interested, there is some more copyright information underneath her skirt here at the back. That's an interesting place to put it, so you can have some writing there, so that is neat. It says copyright WBE at T Wolf S21 Super 7 China. So yeah, it's out of the way, hidden. I like how they did that with the copyright information. All right, so that is what Pumyra looks like. Moving on. And for our articulation, starting the head can go around technically 360 degrees, but the hair both on the back and the front kind of make it hard to articulate. So if you're trying to move it, be careful that the head can wiggle and waggle, can kind of look down a little bit, not really much up. So it's pretty much limited in what you can do with this head. Coming down to the shoulders, shoulders can come up from the body and then back down. They do go around 360 degrees. You do have a bicep rotation, 360 degrees here. Coming down to your elbow bend. Elbow bend is pretty nice. Gives you a little bit over 90 degrees, I would say. You do have forearm rotation. It goes around 360 degrees. Coming down to your wrist articulation, it can go around 360 degrees, and it hinges in and out on all of the hands that come with the figure. Now this is going to be interesting. When you go back to the chest, you do have an upper diaphragm swivel rotation, 360 degrees, so that is really cool. And that is in addition to her regular waist rotation down here, so that goes around 360 degrees, so that is really cool. She does not have an ab crunch, but that will bring us down to her legs, and the legs can go up a little bit of ways, not much because the skirt does get in the way, but using the slit in the side. The side kick can go out that far, and coming to the back, it can go up a little further. Now, if you take it out and kind of push it to the back, that's okay, but you don't want to do that. You basically want to go that far. And she does have thigh rotation that goes all the way around 360 degrees, and that will bring you down to the knee bend, and it's kind of tight. And you don't exactly get 90 degrees out of it. It's kind of limited. I think it's based on the sculpt and the mold, because you don't have a lot of room to go anywhere. So that is interesting. And that will bring you down to the foot. There is no boot cut, but your foot does go all the way around 360 degrees, and it is on a hinge, so you can hinge it up and you can hinge it way back if you're so inclined. So that is pretty cool. So a lot of articulation, and that double chest rotation was kind of weird, but I like it. All right, moving on. And taking a look at accessories, she comes with 3 sets of hands. First, she has these nice open hands, a couple fingers bent back, so she could be like waving, or I'm not sure what she wants to do with those, but you know, it's something. She has a set of fisted hands, so she can be punching at mutants. That is good. And she has a set of weapon holding hands, or thumbs up hands. I don't know, whatever you want to do, because you know, she has to hold her weapons, or she just want to be like the Fonz. Hey, that's cool. All right, moving on. And for her next accessory, she has her alternate angry head. She's looking all grrr and got gritted teeth, and she's very, very angry. So I really don't want to mess with her when she has this head on. So that is really cool. All right, moving on. And moving into weapons, she has this nice little boomerang. It's done in silver with a little red circle in the middle. Kind of reminds me of the glaive from Kroll, but yeah, it's nice. It's rubbery, and she can hold this really well, so that is cool. And for her last weapon, she has her whip cord. Now, it is the same thing that's around her waist, so when you use it, it's going to be kind of weird, but that's okay. It's done in a nice flexy rubber, and you have your 2 tones here with your darker brown and your lighter brown here at this end, and on the other end you see that it is loaded with some pellets or balls or whatever those are, and you have a nice yellow one and a blue one and a red one, so that is really cool. So she could use this to fling them at the enemies, and if needs be, it could also act as a whip, so that is pretty neat. All right, moving on. And Pumyra's last accessory that comes with her is the Totem of Dara. Now, this is a piece of the Treasure of Thundera, and this is something that has remarkable healing effects if you use it properly, but this was picked up by Mumra, and he used it to make swamp monsters, but fortunately when Lynx-O was poisoned, they were able to use this to cure him. So yeah, it's nice. It's blue and kind of gold. It's very flimsy, so you know, it's not breaking because that's just how it's made. So I don't know, that's not a bad idea to do your accessories in very flimsy material so they don't break. But anyway, she can hold this and, you know, heal some people who need healing, or make swamp monsters if she was so inclined. Alright, moving on. And full comparison, here she is with Lynx-O, Tigra, Chitara, and Panthro. Now, another interesting thing about this figure is when she was originally released in the Mattel line, this figure was taller. She was about 7.5 inches tall, so she would have dwarfed over Lynx-O here, and maybe even Tigra. So they kind of reformatted her legs to bring her down a bit and make her shorter, so she looks like she would fit in a little better. But there's nothing wrong with being tall. I like tall. Alright, moving on. And if you're interested to see what she looks like with the villains, here she is with the mutants and Mumra. Run, Pumyra, run! Alright, moving on. And this has been the Super 7 Thundercats Ultimates Pumyra, the first figure that we've looked at in part 1 of our new Thunderians series. And I think she was a really good figure. I really liked her sculpt and mold. It has been updated since she was released in the Mattel version, so now she's not as tall, and I think her colors are different. I can't really say for sure since I never had the original Mattel Pumyra, but I am very happy with this particular version of her. Like I said before, she's very unique in her design. She has some pretty cool accessories with her boomerang and her whipcord that she can use. Again, it's unfortunate that the whipcord around her waist can't be removed because it's going to look odd if she uses it, but you know, that's just one of those small nitpicks of this particular figure. I think she's painted very beautifully. I think her articulation is great. And alternate hands, give or take. I like the Totem of Dara. Always good to get another piece of the treasure of Thundera. The alternate head, a little angry version of her. Take it or leave it. It's alright. But yeah, for the most part, this was a very fun figure to play around with. And if you're a Thundercat completist, you'll definitely want to pick her up along with the other two that we'll be reviewing this week. And to do that, you have to go online to places like Big Bad Toy Store or The Chosen Prime, and she'll run you anywhere from $49 to $55, depending on where you pick her up. You can also check out comic book shops. They may have her on the shelf. So if you're looking for her, happy hunting. And that's going to be the review, guys, wrapping up the first part of our 3-part series. So I hope to see you on Wednesday when we'll be releasing part 2 of the new Thunderians with Bengali. So until then, guys, have a great night and keep playing.
Welcome to Third Earth. Thundercat Pumyra. Thundercat!